So today we have been talking about matters BBI on a day when there is a case management conference currently happening at the Court of Appeal, a conference that is expected to provide what I call the way forward on the appeals that have come forth touching on the High Court ruling that declared the BBI initiative unconstitutional. And of course, this forum is going to help all the interested parties to understand quite a number of issues there. Let me just take you through them. The conference is scheduled to provide an opportunity for the court to give appropriate directions on some of the following issues: the viability of hearing the substantive appeals rather than the rule applications, which allows the suspension of judgment made by the High Court to allow the process continue pending hearing of the main appeal. And of course, it is also going to offer light on the amount of time required for parties to prepare and exchange submissions, also address logistical issues relating to the hearing of the application or appeals. And of course, we have been informed that this is coming courtesy of what happened on the 13th of May 2021. This is when a 5-judge bench made that particular ruling that has really elicited mixed reactions. And so far, we have among those who have filed appeals challenging the ruling include President Uhuru Kenyatta, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, the Office of the Attorney General, and the BBI Secretariat. These are among the parties who are involved in this particular matter. And some of their advocates are in court this particular morning, just getting the direction by the Court of Appeal on how this case is to move going forward. And in studio, we have been talking about the way forward of the BBI initiative, together with a panel of 2 gentlemen, Wilfred Muliro, a governance expert, and Dr. Churchill Saoke, a political analyst. And they have just been helping us understand the journey from way back, when it all began, and how we are here, what the court is saying, what it means, what the president said yesterday during the Madaraka Day celebrations, and what impact this also has on the way forward on the BBI process. And gentlemen, before we took the break, courtesy of the comprehensive conversation we've had, and even trying to analyze the way forward and some of the possibilities that could come, one of the things that really came out of this conversation was the fact that BBI and the 2022 general elections actually go hand in hand, and it's really hard to separate these 2 issues. And proposals have been there that why rush it? We could actually push it post 2022. Others say it is informing 2022, so it has to come first. Others even, I remember way back, suggested we could have both go hand in hand. During the 2022 general elections, we can actually have the referendum together with the 2022 general elections. A lot is coming out, and I was just about to probe you on what if it is pushed post 2022. Will it carry the aroma, the vigor, the level of aggressiveness we've seen this, the teams that have been forming, those for, those against, those who are really not having a decision about it. Will we have the same environment, or things will have changed? What do you foresee?
I think that the BBI is still going to have a huge influence in the 2022 political debate, whether we do it before or after. And this is why I think so. One is that, first, if I was within the architects, within the table of the architects of the BBI, I would even advise them as of now to begin thinking of a post-2022 scenario. And you see, the moment you think of a post-2022 scenario, you prepare the minds of the public and the minds of the interested parties that post-2022 we are likely to have a constitutional change. Now, whether that is true or not, that is aside, but politically, that means that within the public opinion, you are able to inform. People will go into the ground saying, I'm Churchill, and I'm vying for this position, and I'm supporting the BBI. Or in areas where it is people don't like it, I'm Churchill, and I don't support this. So it is going in that way. It is going to inform. That one. 2, in crafting a team of people who will be able to help a given presidential candidate win, they will converge around a presidential candidate with the hope of getting a position when the constitutional change comes. So that means that you do not, they don't support you because the change is already there, but they're supporting you because you are for this change, and when that change comes, I will have a stake in it. So with that, then you realize that it's still going to have a very huge influence. In fact, as is now, it might actually have much more, it will be much more better for the architects to think of a post.
Our history in this country
of a post.
Our history in this country of you know, really sticking to these political MOUs is not very good. So can this strategy by Dr. Churchill Sauke really work? You know, that politicians can actually believe that this promise will be delivered after election. Knowing very well how we have handled political MOUs and agreements.
I think his suggestion is also political, because it's the politics. They need to be treated that way, given that hope. You know, an element of negotiation also includes false hope. And it's not bad. It has saved wars and everywhere globally. So Churchill is suggesting something close to that. But I think you are right. The history of MOUs is actually what is giving the fire to BBI that it must be done before or on, but actually before, because nobody wants to trust the other that let us go. If we had that process, I think we will still agree with the churches that we can do it after. And as you observed some time of when we were talking of camera, is that there are people who know that whatever BBI will create, they are supporting it because they know their survival politically is on BBI. A position will be created, they'll be absorbed there. But without that position, they may even lose what they have, even as members of parliament or senators, depending on where they come from. So there's that burning, I don't know whether to call it aroma, but there is that fire, kernel, that is pushing the BBI to a level that it must be before the 2022 election. I think those two that have been dangled, even there is the one that talks about on the election day is looking at the economic aspects. And I think also it should be put on the table. It makes a bit of sense. The one that mentions after elections is for the people. I think it's a very naive, genuine people of good heart are looking at that, including my brother suggesting that. But the politicians with that Kenyan slogan of politics is dirty and the history of MOUs are hard-pressed that we must be before the elections. And that is why I think if they say it must be before the elections, then some elements which they are relying on may have to be dropped, and they may need to go through parliament. Issues like creating constituencies, I think now that one must be changed, because one of them is one of the weakest points within the court ruling, and another one is the political heat it creates. You've seen, I think even it was observed very well by one of the promoters, that if we don't know who introduced the constituency issues, it is now the biggest hit than the positions up there. And people are saying that a region that will have more constituencies is the one that will control parliament, and it may have the power, you know, to manage the leadership, even from outside, for many years. The one that will have more constituencies. And people have seen that maybe Central Region is having that, it has more that advantage, and it will give room to even if the incumbent is out of government, he'll still be able to manage the processes. And therefore, they'll need to drop some of those things, including the ombudsman issues, and including what they need, actually. I think including those of sharing positions. Because if you put in those positions, it will just go to what Churchill was saying. It will be a very long process. Long. Even whatever the Court of Appeal says, still Linda Katiba and the rest will go higher. And the higher one will take again a long time. And when it makes the decision, then again, political acrimony before we get to that level.
As we're just about to run out of time for this conversation, I want us to address a very critical aspect of this BBI journey as well. It has been the desire of the head of state that as his terms comes to a close,
Yes.
he leaves a united country. That is why he entered this political truce with the ODM leader Raila Odinga to have that handshake and just sort of try to bring Kenyans together so that by the time he leaves a country that is so if we push this, I mean, what does that where does that leave the head of state as well and his legacy?
I think he
and the political future of the former prime minister as well.
Assuming that we are not able to get the constitution before 2022, the president maybe has the opportunity to act as a mediator that is able to create a political truce in a manner that those who go into the election of the 2022 does not become acrimonious, and that all the political contestants are able to get into the table and see the country over and above their self-interests. And I think if he's able to do that, then he would have actually achieved much more in terms of leaving a country. The rest that will happen after that is not his responsibility.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Wilfred Muliro and Dr. Churchill Saoke for creating time to just unpack these issues for us. That brings us to a close on this conversation, but it's a developing issue, so we will be picking it up as we continue in this BBI journey, just to help you better understand how this particular journey is taking shape. I now want to take you back to the Court of Appeal to continue following up on what has been happening for a better part of today, the BBI Appeal Case Management Conference. So let's just take you there, and then we will come back and follow up on other matters as we continue with the day's broadcast.
Issued by the High Court in High Court Petition number E-282 of 2020, as consolidated with petition number 397 of 2020, E400 of 2020, E4101 of 2020, E402 of 2020, E416 of 2020, E426 of 2020, and E2 of 2021, limited to the extent that the applicant, that is the IEBC, shall continue to discharge its statutory and administrative functions, save for dealing with any of the contentious issues arising in the High Court judgment relating to the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill, which was the subject of the High Court judgment. We make no orders as to costs. Yes, I said that is 164, 161 only. All right, and these are the directions regarding civil applications numbers 162, 163, and 171 of 2021. These applications came up before us today for mention for directions. They all arise from the same judgment in High Court Petition number 282 of 2021, as consolidated with petition number 397, 400, 401, 402, 416, 426, all of 2020, and the 2 of 2021. The respective counsel and all parties appeared before us either in person or virtually, as indicated in the quorum sheet. Having heard all the parties and or counsel, we hereby make the following orders. Number one, that in the interest of expeditious disposal of the appeals arising from the aforesaid judgment, all the above applications brought under Rule 52B of the court rules are hereby marked as withdrawn. 2, the appeals arising from the judgment, that is civil appeal number 291, 292, 293, and 294, all of 2021 shall be heard on priority basis. Number 3, further directions in regard to the hearing of the appeals will be given in the appeals, as I shall shortly read. Let me repeat the last direction. Further directions in regard to the hearing of the appeals will be given in the respective appeals. And these are directions regarding civil appeals number E291, 292, 293, and 294 of 2021. Having heard counsel and all parties in these appeals, we hereby give the following directions. Number 1, the record of appeal having been filed, the above appeals are hereby consolidated and shall be heard together, and the lead file shall be E291 of 2021. Number 2, all intended appellants who have filed notices of appeal shall be at liberty to file supplementary records of appeal and or memorandum of appeal as may be appropriate within 7 days from the date hereof. Number 3, any respondent intent on filing a cross appeal shall be at liberty to do so within 7 days of the date hereof. Number 4, all appellants shall file and serve their respective submissions and bundle of authorities within 7 days from the date hereof. Number 5, the respondents shall file and serve their respective submissions and bundle of authorities within 14 days from the date of service of the appellant's submissions. 6, the appellant shall be at liberty to file a reply within 3 days from the date of service of the respondent's submissions. Number 7, the respective submissions shall be limited to 40 pages, font 12, 1.5 spacing. Number 8, the consolidated appeals shall be heard by way of written submissions with oral highlights, limited to 2 hours for each appellant and 2 hours for each respondent. However, the court shall be at liberty to limit the time allocated to avoid repetition. Number 9, the appellants shall be at liberty to make a reply to the respondent's submissions limited to 30 minutes. Number 10, the appeal shall be heard on 29th and 30th of June 2021 and 1st and 2nd of July 2021 by a bench of 7 judges of the court. And lastly, the hearing shall be in open court at a venue to be arranged in compliance with the COVID-19 protocols. Those are the directions which the court has given. Council, why are you on your feet?
It's the information law.
Yes.
I have made an application.
Yes.
These other evidence in the form of an affidavit to bring to the attention of the court the joint committee report of National Assembly and Senate.
Please make a formal application. We will see whether it is opposed and it will be disposed of before that date. Just make it and serve it electronically, and we will give appropriate orders depending on what will be said, because we did not give directions regarding it. All right. Yes.
Yeah. Is it possible to get a copy of?
You will certainly get this. Yes, before the end of the day. In a little while, you should get them.
That's very good.
Thank you.
My Lord, if I may just ask a question, a kind request. Considering there might be one or two interlocutory applications regarding additional documents, might it be proper, because the 7-judge bench may not be able to sit until the substantive hearing, if this bench of 3 judges gives us a date where we can deal with any such applications that may have been filed, so that when we come before the 7-judge bench, we are not revisiting those interlocutory issues to do with applications for additional evidence or supplementary record.
Just do so in writing, and we will deal with it expeditiously.
Very well.
All right. Anything else? All right. Thank you, Council. The court shall adjourn.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
Juu milimani na hata mabondeni, Radio Taifa inatamba kutamba. Sasa unaweza kupokea matangazo ya Radio Taifa loud and clear popote ulipo Western Kenya.
Radio Taifa usisahau, unaweza ukatupata kupitia
ukiwa Busia, Siaya, Vihiga, Mumias, Yala na maeneo yaliyoko karibu. Radio Taifa inapatikana kwenye 104.5 FM, na ukiwa Bungoma, Kakamega, Kiminini, Kipkaren na viunga vyake, pata vipindi na burudani safi kupitia 92.3 FM. Radio Taifa, sauti ya Mkenya.
Life is uncertain. Even if your regular income has been affected, you can still talk to your insurance service provider and convert your policy to a paid-up policy. You will not be required to pay further premiums, and your insurer will still be liable for the benefits payable under this option. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured.
The greatest rally in the world is back in Kenya. Catch all the action of WRC Safari Rally live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 from 24th to 27th June. See the world's best drivers navigate their machines on Kenya's rough terrain at breakneck speeds. Experience the thrills, adrenaline, drama and excitement as man and machine do battle. Don't miss out. WRC Safari Rally, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Sasa, hii ng'ombe ni yako. Asante. Hii ng'ombe itatoa maziwa mengi kabisa. Sasa shida ya school fees imeisha. Jen, chukua hii. Hebu nikuulize, hii maneno nasikia ya bima ya elimu inaweza kuwa namna gani mtu anachukua? Process ya kuchukua insurance cover yote ni rahisi. Hata niko na cover ya gari yangu. Kwanza unajaza proposal form kama hii na uijaze wewe mwenyewe. Na kama haujui kusoma, uijaze na mtu unayemwamini. Hakikisha ile majibu umepatiana ni sahihi na ni ya kweli. Pia thibitisha insurance cover imeangalia maslahi yako. Na usiwahi sign proposal form ambayo haijaandikwa kitu chochote. Pia ukumbuke kujitolea photocopy yako. Sasa wacha nianze hiyo process. By the way, ukisubmit hiyo proposal form, uhakikishe umepatiwa policy document. Uisome na uielewe. Hiyo ndio thibitisho ya kuwa una bima. Asante sana.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na IRA.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
We not the Congo long, just like the Amazon. Split big like a cylinder, man up beat like God.
That's my word, time to be do it now. I hope you heard, girl.
I found true love and it feels like freedom. Oh my God,
I'll give you all you want. Don't even have to ask, what will you give me in return?
Give you all my love, my love, my love, my love, my love, my love. Give you.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
If your daughter won't cooperate, then you're being useless. So you do what you have to do, but I want her to have enough nutrition and to get stronger. Is that clear?
If you had told me that you already had a partner, everything about us would have been completely different, Dad.
Believe me, I had tried. Honestly.
Look, Uncle, the sad thing is, well, your son is a criminal and he must pay for what he did. I couldn't believe he came to rob us. You know what I mean. He took advantage of our trust in you, so he deserves it.
I'm going to see a lawyer, Maya. After that terrible thing that you did,
You have said
I'm going to
enough.
sue for custody. And I won't give her to you ever again. And you're not sending her to America. You hear me?
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Never shot yet.
They're not back. Oh.
Mrs. Lee!
What? My mother passed out? Which hospital?
I won't allow you to sell the car.
Go upstairs!
I won't allow you to sell the
checked with the publishing house. Chimu Yuan died a few years ago. You are an imposter. Didn't only lie about your feelings for her, you also stole her money. Tell you what, if you don't return her money...